Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and that is answering directly questions I get from you, the viewer. In this new segment, I'm going to call Speak with Scoundrel. And so what this is all about is that you guys can write in to me with a specific question you have. It could be about dating, relationships, or just figuring out your own life mission and purpose. And I will analyze and give you my feedback on your question. So if you'd like to ask me a question, you can write me at info@thesophisticatedscoundrel.com. Give me a nice description, tell me what's going on so I can have enough information to analyze, and then I'll go through and I may select your email to answer in a video just like this. Okay, so today I have a question here from somebody on Instagram, and so I'm going to go through and give you my thoughts. All right, so he says that I'm falling for a girl that already has a boyfriend. Uh-oh. All right, so he goes, "Hey Jason, glad you thought about this. So this girl is present in my daily life as she works at the gym that I work out at. She is beautiful, sweet, takes care of her body, she's very feminine, and is a fun person to be around. And with all of these traits, it's natural that a man would be attracted to her. I agree. Those are all lovely things that, if she's beautiful, she's feminine, fun to be around, then yeah, this is a no-brainer. Any man would be interested in a girl like this. But she has a boyfriend, and as much as I try to stay away and get back to my senses, the attraction does not go away. I've even started to dream about her and me getting together. It is crazy. I still talk and flirt with other women, but it's hard to get her out of my head. Anyways, brother, I'm glad for you reaching out for more details on the story. Thank you very much for all your work here. Cheers from Brazil." Well, that's very cool that you are reaching out to me from Brazil. Always love hearing from my brothers around the world. I did actually have a follow-up question to him, and I asked him if he's ever had a girlfriend before, and he said this: "I had a girlfriend about 1 year ago, and I broke up with her because she always wanted to go out to parties and clubs with her friends when I was not available. And that's not the behavior of someone who respects her man, and even after I told her, I didn't like it." Okay, so that's some good information that I'll get into. All right, so the first things first, okay, and this is the obvious answer, is that if you try to get with a woman that has a boyfriend or is in a relationship and she does ultimately get with you, well, this is simply foreshadowing for what's going to happen to you. And that means either A, she's going to cheat on you, or B, she's going to dump you for some other dude who happens to come her way. So regardless of what the situation is, if you were to ever get with this girl, it just would be a bad news story. And I think this is pretty obvious. Most of us that's the obvious answer, but I want to dig a little bit deeper into this because I think there's more going on than meets the eye. There's this funny thing that I notice happen to certain people, and it's when you interact with people who are in a relationship, we tend to get a little bit of extra swagger. And I think it's because there's a safety net. We know that's not going anywhere, so there's really nothing to risk. So then you kind of just are confident and just do whatever because there's really nothing to risk. And you see this happen with both, men when they interact with women, and then when women interact with men who are taken. Have you guys ever experienced when you finally get into a relationship, all of a sudden now all the women want to talk to you. They're like, oh, they come out of the woodwork. Oh, you're so great. Oh, I missed my chance, blah, blah, blah. And I think when it comes to women doing this, it's they finally see you have some social proof and they think, oh, well, if she's with him, there must be something special about this guy, right? And they want to be with you and stuff like that. And so this attitude that you have when you're with a woman is the attitude you should always have, an attitude of abundance. It definitely helps you bring in more women just all the time, but that's for a different video. Now, there are also men who get off on interacting with women who are in relationships. And I used to know a guy who did this, and it was pretty despicable, in my opinion. He would always be flirting with women who had boyfriends, and he would just love to get them to break up with their boyfriend so he could go out with them. And then once he did, he went out with them and just kind of dumped them after a little while and just totally devastated their relationship. I mean, It's fucked up for a lot of different reasons, but this is something I would never recommend. I'm not recommending this, but this is something that some people do. But again, I don't think this is what's going on here. So I'm going to probe a little bit deeper and get into something that I see happening here. Okay, so he's, interested in this woman who has a boyfriend. And he's starting to fantasize about him and her getting together, just living in this la la land, right? And so what I see here is a comfort in fantasy. Again, there's no real risk here. If you were to talk with a girl who is single, now there's some risk. There's a risk of rejection. She might not be interested in you, and all those fantasies come crumbling down, right? Whereas in this situation, you can continue to fantasize. You can enjoy that moment and just pine after her, right? And I see this happen with a lot of different men. But I'm going to go one step further with this. And I'm going to look at what he said about his girlfriend, okay? He said that he was with this girl who would always go to clubs and parties without him. And he never got that respect. He never really got that intimacy that he wanted. And I'm seeing a pattern here. It's this pattern of chasing after women who will never fulfill what he truly wants, which is to have an intimate, loving relationship with a woman he considers beautiful and feminine, right? Let me just make sure I'm recording here. Okay, good. And so he's continuously building in this distance between him and the women that he is interested in, right? Whether it be with this girl who's already taken, he has this fantasy about her, having a good time imagining them together, or with his ex-girlfriend who never really fulfilled that thing, so he never really got intimate with her. Now, you might be wondering, well, that's not true. I didn't know she was like that when I first started dating her. But here's the thing that I'm going to push back against that. I think that most of us know, and you see red flags, you feel certain things, because humans have very good instincts. And you can sense these things at the beginning, but most of us choose to overlook them. And so I bet that there were probably some warning signs with his ex-girlfriend that he overlooked, because what guys tend to do is they think, oh, I'm different. I can overcome this. I'm going to be different. I can change her. I can fix her. When in reality, you can't. I mean, it's just something that we wish could happen, but it never will. And so ultimately, she is who she is. And so I'm sure she probably had signs of being a party girl and not really paying you much attention, but you just kept going after it because you wanted to see if you could change it. And this is where I'm seeing this parallel, is this chasing after women who just are not available. You've built in this safety net. And when I say safety net, what I mean is that you never really get too close to somebody. They're always at a distance, whether it be with this girl you're fantasizing with or with the ex-girlfriend. What you want, like I said, is that you want that intimacy, but you're never going to get it because of the type of women that you're subconsciously drawn to. Now, this isn't unique to you. I've actually dealt with this issue with a lot of my clients, my coaching clients. And I'll tell you about a guy who I coached. He was good with women, and he was always able to attract and hook up with beautiful women. But when it came closer to that relationship thing, he was constantly sabotaging it, even though he really liked and wanted to be with these women. Now, the women that he ended up being girlfriend and boyfriend with were women that he settled for, he wasn't super into. They were women that he kind of had to lift up their spirits. They were kind of mopey, kind of depressed type of women. Didn't really share his passions in life, and it just kind of like wasn't a good situation. I pointed this out to him. I said, hey man, you keep pushing away the women that you really like and settling for the women that you're just not that into. You're self-sabotaging yourself. And when I was able to reveal this to him, it was like a light bulb went off in his head. He was like, holy shit, you're right. I do that. And I don't know why. So, we did some digging and were able to uncover this, which eventually led to him being with a woman that he really liked. And now they are actually engaged to be married. So that's a very cool story, a success story. But you have to understand that what you're saying to me, what you really want, which is, to be with a sweet, fun, feminine girl. That's what you're saying. but your actions speak differently because you're chasing after this unavailable woman, and that you were also you went out with a woman who wasn't really giving you those things either. So there's incongruency between your words and your actions. So pay attention to this. If you were really going after what you wanted, you would only be considering women who were single and available. But that's not what's going on. And I know you said you're flirting with other girls, and that's good. But you're putting your effort and your time into women who aren't available. Okay, so just notice that about yourself. And this is something that I see a lot, and it's not just you, it's both men and it's women. Like, we all know women who they keep chasing after guys who never give them the time of day, right? And this is a built-in safety net to prevent themselves from actually ever experiencing true intimacy with someone that they actually really like. And it's because they don't want to get hurt. It's easier to chase after someone with a built-in distance than ever really get there. Because if you got there, that would mean that this is for real. And if you experience the love and true affections of a woman who really liked you, there's a fear factor there that, okay, well, maybe she'll reject me, or maybe she'll, think I'm really a horrible guy and she'll reject me and I'll be really hurt. So a lot of us would rather just chase after that feeling without ever experiencing it. And it's the same for women. And so you get into these relationships where you act out this fantasy of, oh, I really love them, but there's really no possible way you could ever actually get that intimacy. Okay, so now why are you doing this? This is something that we would have to uncover further if we were to talk in like a one-on-one coaching session. But for this video, that's not really that important. The important thing is first of all, if this is true with you, acknowledging that fact. And second of all, trying to uncover, well, why am I doing this? Why am I, giving up my time to women who don't respond in the way that I hope for? And then the next thing that you need to ask yourself is, okay, what would I need to do differently so I feel comfortable with a woman who actually gives me what I want, which is that femininity, the love and attention, or the love and affection, and that intimacy. Like, because a lot of guys, if you were to ever get that actual intimacy, could you even handle it? Like, that's a whole nother question, because a lot of guys, they can't handle it. It's a scary thing, because like I said earlier, you may fear that if you get it, then she'll see something about you that she doesn't like and reject you. So there's this thing at play here where you're just keeping this distance of chasing around, and then you never really get it. And you can see this a lot with guys who are in love with OnlyFans models or Instagram models. They want that intimacy, but there's no way in hell they're ever gonna go out with this OnlyFans girl. She doesn't even know they exist. Or same with an Instagram model. Like, there's no way that you will ever be with these women, but yet you pine over. You spend so much energy and effort hoping and wishing and fantasizing. And it only keeps you from actually getting what you want, the outcome that you want, which is to have a decent relationship with a girl who actually likes you back. So this is my analysis of the situation. I would love to hear from you. You can send me a message if any of this resonates with you, but I see this happen time and time again, and I do believe that this is most likely what is going on in your situation, is that you're preventing yourself from actually getting that intimacy that you want subconsciously by the women that you're choosing to spend your mental energy and your emotional energy on. So, all right, guys, that's it for this week's Speak with Scoundrel. If you have a question that you'd like me to analyze and give you my advice on, write me at info@thesophisticatedscoundrel.com. Send me an email with enough information and detail so I can then read it and analyze it. You, of course, will remain anonymous. And if you're selected, I will do a video just like this one for you. All right, guys, that is it for this one. We'll see you in the next video.